So I just heard the news that Star Wars The Acolyte Season 2 is officially canceled, completely ending Disney's plans for the High Republic, at least at the moment. But, knowing Disney, they'll find some new way to mess up, but at least they made this one correct. They at least made this decision just to stop this horrendous train show moving any further. The fact that most YouTubers, most people were watching the show just to see it fail, because that's what my channel was doing. I was just reviewing it, just watching, just seeing like how bad it can get. Like, it didn't, disappoint in that regard because of how bad it got week after week. It was insane. Like, if you guys haven't gone back and watched it, just watch someone's recap of your favorite YouTuber. They're going to give you a great breakdown of why it's so bad. It was hilarious. Like, honestly, I could have given this to my high school sister, and she could have ran a whole better story. I was going to say kindergarten nieces, but we won't go that far down the totem pole, okay? We'll at least give them some credit, like maybe a high schooler could write something that bad, but honestly, I think most high schoolers could probably write a better show than what we got here. Now, what I want to go over here with y'all real quick is this article from Variety. Now, I just saw this come up. I haven't had a chance to read through it yet myself, so I just wanted to go over it with y'all real quick here, just to kind of go over some of the points that they make, because this is my first time seeing this. So let's just start at the very top here. The Acolyte is dead. Star Wars series won't return for season 2. I really wish I could say I feel really bad about that. The Acolyte will not return for season 2. Lucasfilm has elected not to continue with the Star Wars Disney Plus series following its first season, which depicted the series of Sith roughly 100 years before the events of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, and they threw in Darth Plagueis just haphazardly. Like, they had him crawling around like some sick, weak, creepy fellow. He was in a cave when both Osha and Kylar or Sindar were in there, but he never introduced himself to Osha. He was just kind of watching them creepily, so they completely did Plagueis a disservice. Like, Plagueis is supposed to be a refined politician who is maneuvering his way through politics of the old Republic and doing his experiments on the Force, but was held back because he was an alien and he had never been accepted. So that's why Palpatine went and became the Chancellor, because of the racism at that time. But nope, they didn't give us any of that backstory. He just showed up for like a couple frames at the very last episode, where we also got to see Yoda show up for no reason. So, sorry. Let's just continue on from here. The news comes at once as a shock, given how much the Season 1 final ended on a cliffhanger and teased several plot lines for Season 2, and not much of a surprise given the wildly opposing reception from fans and the less than robust viewership that appeared to drop off after the series premiere in June. So even they are recognizing that in one regard we're shocked, but in reality it's no shock at all. The fans absolutely hated it, and the viewership was absolutely atrocious, so kind of was expected. And when they say that there's a cliffhanger, there wasn't really a cliffhanger. All that happened is that Osha went to go train with the Sith, and her sister May agreed to get her mind brainwashed for some reason, or I should say not brainwashed, mind wiped for some reason, so she could go talk to the Jedi, but it didn't make any sense. There was really no cliffhanger. Most things were wrapped up. The only question was, how are the Jedi going to go after Osha and the rest of the Sith Order? That was the only real question there, but I wasn't really hanging out at the edge of my seat like, oh, are they going to die? Or, oh no, is the Republic going to find out that the Jedi covered up some Jedi deaths? No, we didn't have anything like that. All we had was just the Jedi obfuscating the truth just a little bit, pinning all the blame on one of their other fellow Jedi, and that was pretty much it. So I don't really get what their point is getting here. Creator Leslie Headland, former assistant to Harvey Weinstein, and an avowed Star Wars superfan. Get out of here. She can't even name her favorite Star Wars film. When she was asked, what was your favorite Star Wars movie? She was just like, all of them. I love all the Star Wars. She couldn't at least say like the most basic answer of The Empire Strikes Back. Like, you say that, most fans will agree with you. There are some people who out there who will say that they really love Revenge of the Sith as their favorite. It's the rare one that you'll see come out and say the Attack of the Clones. And the Star Wars fans that say that they like the new trilogy from Disney, well, they're the specials. We're still working on those ones, okay? But the fact that she won't even acknowledge what kind of Star Wars movie she likes just goes and tells you she's not a super fan. She just tells you that. So even in this article here, they're still playing into the hands of Lucasfilm and Disney Star Wars. But with that said, we'll just continue with the article. Set out to create the first Star Wars story set outside of the core timeline in the franchise that stretches from The Phantom Menace to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, but you're not doing anything new. See, that's the issue. It's correct in a sense because you are not in that specific time frame, but you're still a prequel. You're still building up to it. You haven't done anything radically new. I'll say a lot about the sequel trilogy, but at least the sequel trilogy happened after the original trilogy and was its own thing, sort of. Not really. The first movie was a complete clone of A New Hope. The second movie was a disaster, and we were not even going to talk about the third one from Disney. But at least it was trying something new. This whole show, it's nothing but trying to throw member berries at you, destroying canon, going before the events that happened. If you want to do an authentically original show, you'll go 1,000 years into the future, go way past the Jedi and Sith and the Republic of current day, have the galaxy split up into 3 sectors, have a sector where it's the Republic, have a sector where it's the Sith Empire, and a sector where it is now outlaw space. That's what you do if you want to be something unique. And then what you have is you have the Yuuzhan Vong come down and have them F everything up and cause a whole bunch of shenanigans that, our heroes at that time frame that have to be. You do it for 2 reasons. One, it'd be an interesting, fun universe that has been refreshed. And 2, you're getting away from the legacy of Luke, Han, and Leia. You're trying something new on your own, and whether you succeed or not is kind of up to you as the writers. Now, you can take inspiration from the EU that has done that, gone to the future, but it would be a new story, and we could at least give you some credit for trying something new and something different. But nope, they don't like doing that. Sorry. I get on these rants when we're talking about Star Wars because this is something very near and dear to my heart that I just gotta talk about every now and then. The show followed twins Osha and May, both played by Amanda Stenberg, who did very bad. She was absolutely atrocious. She was a wooden actress. Her acting was bad. I don't really care about her race. You'll see a lot of people come out like, oh, the racists, they're talking about her race. Her race didn't matter. No one cares about her race. No one really cares about any of the races in the show. But they were all trash. And the fact that they were diversity hires at this point just makes the whole thing worse. And the fact that you made all your white Jedi in there look incompetent and just fools also plays badly to you. So it was just a bad show all around. But I don't know why Lindsay Hedlund was doing that, but she was just maybe high or on some drugs when she was creating the show. Who were separated as children and led to believe the other had been killed. Well, that's what happened. Everyone thought she was dead. Led to believe by who exactly? By the Jedi? No. Just that was the course of the story. They should have said who everyone thought was dead. That would have been better. But by doing this, they make the Jedi sound more insidious. Like, oh, we're covering it up. We're masking it from you. No, nothing like that happened in the actual story. I mean, I get it's a horrible show, but if you're going to write this article, at least watch a little bit of it, please. Some critics and fans loved how the show challenged the traditional perception of the Jedi as infallible and wholly virtuous as embodied by the emotionally self-serving choices made by Jedi Master Soul. Hold the phone, okay? Right now, this is the height of the Republic. This is the height of the Jedi. The Jedi are supposed to be the top dogs. They are supposed to be the most noble, the best of what they are. And you're showing them this corrupted and evil and dilapidating organization right now? Like, the Jedi, for all their faults, they are still the good guys. The Jedi are the moral center of the universe. One thing that a lot of people in Star Wars get wrong, and I'm going to admit I had this wrong for a while, is that when George Lucas was saying that Luke will bring back balance to the Force, or that the Chosen One, Anakin, will bring balance to the Force, it means destroying the Sith. It doesn't mean co-opting the same space as the Sith and the Jedi. No, the Sith are clearly evil, and the Jedi are clearly good. Yes, do the Jedi make mistakes? Sure they do. They're people. But the Sith are evil, they're anti-Force, and you want to get rid of their blight. So when they say bring back balance, it means wiping out the Sith and just remain with the light side of the Force. That's pretty much all that's going on here. When you're saying the challenging the traditional perspective of Jedi as infallible and wholly virtuous as embodied by the emotionally self-serving choices made by Jedi Master Soul. Jedi Master Soul wasn't even all that self-serving. Yes, he wanted a Jedi Padawan, but he found some kids that were in danger in a witch's cult. Okay? One of the daughters didn't want to join the cult. The other one did want to join the cult. And Soul, he saw that she didn't want to become part of the cult. She wanted to become something else, and she wanted to join the Jedi. So he gave her the option. She took it up on them, and then she never showed up, and they got concerned, and they went to go take a look. And when he got there, apparently the whole place was catching on fire. Her mother's turning into some sort of demon spirit. So Soul killed her mother to save the girls. If you're going to try to de-escalate a situation in that area, don't turn into a dark spiritual demon monster that doesn't really give anyone a choice but to take you out. Because as she was turning that spirit monster, she was also turning in May into that same spirit monster. So what was Soul supposed to do? That wasn't self-serving. He was trying to help save the girls and give them the best possible outcome. I mean, the first person to draw a weapon on them wasn't even Soul and his Padawan. Sorry, not his Padawan, but Master Hundara's Padawan that was there. They didn't draw the weapons first. They were drawing them on by the lesbian mothers. So I don't agree with this whole sentence here that was self-serving. Who was responsible for removing Osha from her family and causing her separation from her sister. Osha never wanted to become a witch. Her family's going to force her to become a witch. All Soul did was give her the option to not be stuck in that system, to become someone that she wanted to be, and rescue her from a dangerous cult that was turning into spirit demons of some sort, that was devouring and atomizing people. So no, Soul didn't do anything wrong here. So you obviously still see the political bent of this article. Other fans, however, felt those creative choices were antithetical to the good versus evil nature of Star Wars. Yes, it is. Full stop. Star Wars is about good and evil in the world. Now, you can maybe have some more great characters that aren't Jedi. You can maybe have some stormtroopers or some Republic commandos. But you're going to be dealing with Sith and Jedi. What's the nature of good and what's the nature of evil? You have to have them in their traditional roles, because these are literally the representation of this world moral system. If you're having these guys just go completely wonky, what do you have even going on? Now, that's not to say that you can't have bad Jedi or you can't have good Sith. But I am saying that when you have showing them in this era, and they're all incompetent, and they're all corrupt, and they're all crooked, and they're all not in the best representation of what a Jedi should be, at the height of the Jedi's power, at the height of their morality, at the height of what they are, come on. Like, that's a little bit of bullshit in my opinion. But hey, you know what? That's just me as a Star Wars fan speaking here. Storytelling and strongly objected to the show's expansion of the mythology of the Force. Agreed, you call it the thread. What we are in, like, you're taking inspiration from the Wheel of Time, where threads and seeing magic like threads or weaves and all that is common. Why are you calling the Force the thread? Like, maybe I can understand in a sense if you stuck with that terminology throughout the show for the witches, but you only saw it for an episode and then they immediately dropped it again. So it was just some weird interceding into the show, in my opinion. Was also review bombed. Nope, it wasn't review bombed. It was honestly criticized. And you know what? The only reason why you still got a decent viewership was because people tuned in to just watch how bad a show is. So if a show is naturally bad, that doesn't mean it's getting review bombed. If a show is just naturally good, does that mean that it's getting review nuked? That it's just blowing up? It's crazy that it shouldn't be getting blown out of proportions? No, a show deserves to be praised when it's good. But when you have a show as bad as The Acolyte just getting destroyed, yeah, it should get bombed into obliteration. An insidious practice most often employed as a form of digital protest against inclusive casts centered around actors of color and LGBTQ characters like Osha and May's mothers, played by Jodie Turner-Smith and Margaret Lever. Nope, nope. This is complete BS. The majority of YouTubers out there, the majority of commentators, the majority of podcasters, they aren't doing this just because they are black or LGBT or whatever have you, or DEI. They're doing it because you're forcing leftist propaganda into them. You're breaking stories. They don't make sense. Your characters aren't actually being heroic. They're not actually smart. That if the world wasn't built around these characters, the whole world would fall apart and the characters would die. No, those are the actual criticisms. But you just like to label us as just being, oh, whiny crybabies who don't like to see their universes destroyed. No, we're fans. We're here first. We grew up with these. We treasured these. And now you come in and you start destroying them left, right, and center. So yeah, no, we're going to be a little bit pissed about this. The 2017 film Star Wars Last Jedi was an earlier representation of this kind of trolling. That movie destroyed Star Wars. That literally split the fandom in two. Now, I was on the side of the fandom that hated The Force Awakens, but we were a very small pocket back then. There was not a lot of acknowledgement that The Force Awakens was a bad Star Wars movie until later on. Now you hear a lot of people coming out like, yeah, you know what? I like The Force Awakens, but it wasn't a really great Star Wars movie. It was just kind of a copy of A New Hope. And I was part of a small subsection that thought that when I first saw the movie, because everything was just lining up with that New Hope movie as you're watching it. It was only until The Last Jedi show that was so bad that it just destroyed the Star Wars fandom. That's where Star Wars died in 2017. Despite these objections, the Acolyte also captured a great deal of positive reactions, especially surrounding the reveal that Manny Junto, the Good Place, first introduced as May's helpless sidekick Quimar, was really the masked Sith warrior commanding May to assassinate the Jedi responsible for separating her from Osha. Yeah, that whole thing is weird and creepy because he seduces May in one of the episodes by just undressing in front of her, just showing her his whole frontal and backside, and then going for a swim. And he knows she's there the whole time, and that's pretty much all that seduces her to the dark side. I'm not kidding. Go back and watch the episode. It literally takes a day for her to join the Sith. He just shows her his full form and then has a little conversation with her later on. Makes her feel to join the dark side of the Force, and that's it. There was no hesitation. There was no, you just killed all my friends. You just were a monster. You just went on this whole murderous tirade. No, nothing like that. It just literally took a day. So the fact that people were happy and positive about him, Quimar probably was the only good part of the show. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I enjoyed him somewhat, but still the character was not all that great. Writing was not all that great. So yeah, it was just maybe a small sub-faction that actually enjoyed him. A scene in which Janto disrobes along a rocky coastline as a tactic to seduce Osha to the dark side garnered a great deal of attention, spanning legions of thirst posts to social media. Yep, see what I told you? Just a whole bunch of weirdos. The Raylos are back, people. Other cast members include Carrie Annie. I don't care about that. Lucasfilm's next Star Wars series, Disney Plus, Skeleton Crew debuts at blah 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 blah. Being more difficult from the Acolyte, with the cast made up mostly of children, and an approach it describes as akin to Amblin-style adventure storytelling from the 1980s. The second and final season of Andor, the spawning political drama of Dingo Lauren, is set to follow in 2025, and a second season of Ahsoka in development. Is that it? Yeah, that looks to be it. So, yeah, doesn't really give us too much more after that. Don't really care about any of this. I'm not really going to watch the Skeleton Crew unless I think it's so bad that I'll go and cover it. Maybe I'll take a look at Endor. I keep hearing good things about it, so maybe I'll go take a look and just review that video. But for the most part, no. None of this was good. The whole show was garbage. It deserves to die. Star Wars, The Acolyte, you should have died in your conception. I'm sorry that we had to actually witness you. You just damaged Star Wars more. But hey, at least I gotta make some content out of you, and we gotta put another nail in Disney's coffin of Star Wars. So, with that said, hopefully you all have a wonderful night. I look forward to hear what your thoughts. Was the Acolyte not that bad for you? Did you actually enjoy it? I look forward to hear what you guys gotta say down in the comment section below. You all take care now. Bye.